Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another Try Me Tuesday video. I'm pumped to be back with you guys at the pool table here. And what I want to talk about today, or testify about today, is pain. Pain is something that God has used in my life for so many good things. And I feel like culturally, pain is it's becoming our best friend and our worst enemy at the same time. And I think something that I think about, and well, let me just qualify that statement I made. Our best friend. I do feel like culturally, we are befriending pain as if it was like our long lost, I don't know, stepsister or something. Maybe not stepsister. But I guess what I'm trying to say is we identify with our pain beyond what I think is a good idea to identify with. We feel like our pain is who we are, in a sense, and we like pain because it's familiar, because maybe it validates something we've learned or something we're struggling with. And we have life lessons associated with pain. We have friends we've made because of pain, or friends that experience that pain with us. And so we can almost bring pain in close, like it's a pal, but that's not what pain is meant to do. It's not supposed to be a pal. We're supposed to use it for something productive and then let go of it. And so the world of almost like gripping onto pain so tightly and refusing to let it go is convenient. It's becoming more and more trendy, and a lot of times we give more credibility to voices that speak from a place of pain rather than voices that speak from a place of health are kind of written off and like, hey, who cares? Not necessarily who cares, but like easy for them to say. Like, we don't really want to hear from healthy people anymore. We want to hear from afflicted and painful people, or pained people. And again, it's not what pain is meant to do, because if you hold on to pain, it will hold on to you. It will never let you go, and it can grow and grow and grow and become this intense bitterness. What am I supposed to do here? Golly. Ugh. That's a table scratch. I don't even know if I'm really speaking in a way that is comprehensible. It turns out playing pool and talking on a video is kind of hard to do at the same time. But what I've described so far is what the world is doing with pain. On one end, befriending it, consuming it, holding on to it forever, never letting it go, and don't tell me anything that would try to invalidate or try to take away my pain. I've already tried taking away my pain, so don't even go there. And you can even hear pain speaking in my voice in this hypothetical scenario of someone talking about their pain. We love the voice of pain. And yet, the world also makes pain its worst enemy. And some ways it does that is, for example, thinking that the existence of pain necessitates the existence of injustice. We think that if someone got hurt, therefore someone is in the wrong. But that is not necessarily true. Pain does not necessitate injustice. Pain exists for several reasons. They're purposeful, but they are not all unjust reasons. Boom! Oh, hit him with the tudo! Hit him with the tudo. So, we hate pain, right? Sorry, I'm out of the frame over here. It's our best friend, but we also hate it. We accuse people that inflict pain. So that would make you think that we don't like pain. It must not be a great best friend if we hate the people that introduced it to us, you know? We also avoid it in our personal lives, like in day-to-day decisions. We will do things in order to avoid pain. Painkillers being an easy example. I'm not feeling well, let's take an Advil. So you must not like pain too much if when you feel it, you want to make it go away. Up to obviously the most extreme example, or maybe not the most extreme example, but just another example of painkiller is an epidural in the setting of childbirth. Again, not a pain that I personally would want to experience, and I don't blame anyone for getting an epidural. But, you know, the first babies that were ever born, they didn't have one of those machines, you know? Like, it's just kind of crazy, you know, to think about our experience with pain versus others. And then, especially if you think about relationally, how much have you heard about, oh, so-and-so is a toxic relationship, you should cut them out of your life. As soon as we perceive that something is going to cause us harm, we think we should get away from that thing, and that thing is a bad thing, and a bad person. And more importantly, who cares what you think about that person? You must associate the pain that they inflict on you as bad if you are trying to insulate yourself from people or situations that could cause pain. Right? So it's our worst enemy, but it's our best friend. We love our pain, we don't want to let it go. Maybe we've convinced ourselves that we do want to let it go, but simultaneously we have idolized the most passionate voices of pain and diminished those who are healthy and say, get rid of your pain. And we've also criminalized those who say get rid of your pain as inflicting even more pain. And so how dare you? Y'all understand the pain vortex that I'm talking about here? It's crazy. It's crazy time. How are we gonna hit this ball? Jeez. This is not my best game. And so what if pain's not supposed to be our best friend, and it's not supposed to be our worst enemy, then how are we supposed to relate to it, or what is it supposed to be? I would say it's supposed to be pain. It's supposed to be what it is. It's not supposed to be intrinsically bad or intrinsically good, and it's definitely not supposed to be both, because that just doesn't even make sense. Pain is pain, and it's useful. A lot of times our body will experience pain as a warning that something is wrong, that something needs attention, right? This is not news to any of you guys. you don't need me to teach you about what pain is, but normally, scratch the 8 ball. That game was going nowhere fast. Yikes. It's a warning to help us to change something to make it go away. If I have a splinter, it's hurting my finger. It's telling my body there's something hurting your finger. So what? So get it out of my finger, right? Like, it's that simple. Don't leave it in there. Don't be like, I kind of like this, kind of like a tattoo. It's a cool thing. And at the same time, you don't have to like make sure that you never get a splinter ever again for the rest of your life, because that was just the worst thing. Like the dramatization of pain, of emotional pain, of relational pain, of physical pain. You know, so many movies are just centered around pain, and don't let this bad thing happen. But a lot of times the bad thing that could happen is not so bad, it's just painful. It's painful. And pain, when responded to rightly, is just so helpful. Can you imagine if you didn't feel pain when a splinter was in your finger? There would be so many blind spots in toxic relationships, in physical pain. There would be so many risks of what could happen to you if you didn't have pain as a mechanism to warn you. At the same time, pain, when responded to, goes away, right? If you can actually reconcile what's causing this pain, then in the case of a splinter, great, you can take the splinter out. In the case of a relationship, if you cut off the relationship, that can insulate you from experiencing more pain, but that might not actually solve the relational pain. Often it's confronting that pain, it's discussing and trusting and working through things together that brings a restoration of relationship. Not every relationship needs to be restored, but if you break off a relationship, you don't leave the pain of that relationship behind. You actually take it with you for the rest of your life. Whereas if you can have healthy conflict in the context of that relationship, then you can actually see that relationship through to the other side, and that pain does not keep going off forever. You don't associate that person with that breaking in trust if you can rebuild trust, you know? Obviously it takes two to tango, but all I'm trying to say is I'm so thankful for pain. It is not my best friend. I don't want to just keep pain in my life. I want pain to occur when it's trying to communicate something so that I can respond to it. And pain doesn't want to stay a part of your life forever either. Like, seriously, we will not be experiencing pain when we are in heaven, okay? So if you just love pain like it's your best friend, you're going to be sad when it's not there for you anymore. You're going to have to let go of, I'm sorry, I ain't even trying to preach right now. Look, this is not is it called a podium? This is not a podium, all right? This is a pool table. I'm thankful. I've been made so much better. There's also like productive pain, like, I mean, labor's an example that I don't personally experience, but maybe physical labor when you're working on something that's hard, or working out or something. Like, there's a type of pain that lets you know you're making progress, that also, again, is so helpful as a communication agent and as a way to prompt your mind and your heart and your will and your motivation to respond and to be able to gauge things that are happening in your life. And so it's not so dramatic. It's not something we need to be scared of. We're guaranteed to experience it in this life. It is a fact of life. It is a reality. You don't want it to go away. Think about how much more harm would happen to you if you didn't know when things were harming you. Can you imagine that? If you didn't feel pain, think about how much worse your life would be. You don't want pain to go away. You want pain so that you can respond to pain. So if my wife hurts my feelings, I'm not like, get out of here, right? I'm like, wow, this happened, that hurt my feelings. And then she has the opportunity to respond to that. And if she responds to that, wow, we're even closer than we were before, even though we experience pain, you know? It is oftentimes a sign of progress, and it is at worst a sign of something that needs change. But if you make the right changes, it'll go back into its hermit hole where it's supposed to stay, you know? And it'll come back out when there's something new, something important it wants to tell you. This is not, psychiatric advice. I am not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor. So again, this topic might even be triggering if you're very passionate about this place of pain and you genuinely feel like the world is underappreciative of your pain and doesn't fully validate or know the pain that you're going through. I mean, that can be a very frustrating thing. But the worst thing you can do is, therefore, I will hold on to my pain forever. Because the world's going to keep going. New York City is still not going to sleep. But you are stuck with that pain. And so the alternative of making changes, of forgiving, of reconciling, of confronting, allowing yourself to experience the pain, not numbing yourself to it, not embracing it, but at the same time hating it, but using it for productive purposes. Man, I could just tell story after story after story after story of ways that God has used pain to help me, all types of different pain. And I'm so thankful, and I don't look forward necessarily to the next time I experience pain, but I kind of do, right? But I don't want it, but I know that, man, whenever that happens, I still have plenty of reason to rejoice, plenty of reason to be hopeful, because it is not the end of the story. It is not the identity that I assume. It is just communicating something to me right now for me to respond to. Sometimes those responses can take months or years, but it is a response. It is not a permanent situation. That's all I got for y'all today. Hopefully this made sense. Sorry for the rambling. Life is worship. God is love.